All right, we're recording. This is Accelerate and Grow podcast, episode 4, interview with Superman.
Yeah.
Take it away when you're ready.
And I don't need to say episode 4, right?
No, I just did. Yeah, I routed my voice into the
Okay.
recording.
All
So
right.
you
All
don't have
right.
to
All
do
right.
it.
All right. So when we do this, by the way, it's like I'll start off talking there, then you and I will like look at each other to talk. So it's like we don't have to like stare at that when we're talking.
I got
Because
you.
that just gets weird. Right? Welcome to the Accelerate and Grow podcast, where we bring to you industry leaders, people in the know, people that can give you some information that maybe you don't have, maybe that nugget you need. So we're here today with Superman, aka Christopher Reeves. I do want to start off by saying my co-host, or I guess technically I'm the co-host, and she's the host, Catherine Pierce, isn't with me today, and she's out sick. So this is kind of more like, instead of Accelerate and Grow podcast, more like Bros on a Show.
Bros on a show.
Bros on a Show. So, man, Christopher, what do you prefer, Christopher or Chris?
I just don't want to be called late for lunch.
Late for lunch. We'll call you late for dinner. No.
For dinner.
So anyway, so Chris, thanks for joining us. The reason why, man, I was really excited about having you on this podcast because, you know, I guess give or take 2 months ago, we didn't even know each other.
We didn't. We actually met at one of your networking events.
Met at one of our networking events, and it just kind of took off from there. And you know, I say that for a couple of reasons. One is because I guess that means networking works.
It does.
But the other thing is that, you know, it's, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, you may, you know, part of it is like it was like either the best timing or the worst timing, right? And that was that that, you know, your company is Dapper and Fit,
It is.
and it's pretty self-explanatory. You help people to be dapper and fit, or maybe fit and dapper.
Or all of the above.
Or all of the above, fit and dapper, not yeah. And you know, it just, man, I was, you know, I like everybody, you know, I mean, it's like I go up and down in weight, right? And it just hit me, man, like right as I was at my highest weight, and I was like, ugh, man, I know I need to do something. I know I need to do something because, you know, doing what I'm doing, I mean, it's worked great if my goal was to gain weight and get out of shape.
As most Americans.
Yeah, man, right? But what was interesting is, like, we immediately started having a conversation, and it was, you know, I had asked some questions that were kind of pertinent to me, but, you know, and I don't necessarily want to make this all about you and about Dapper and Fit, but let's talk about that because it's a great place to kind of start. But like, what do you find? Because you run into all kinds of men, right? I mean, your main focus is men, right?
Absolutely.
So you run into all kinds of men,
Yep.
right? What do you kind of? Because I know what my excuses were, right? But what do you find is the excuses that you hear or see?
The main excuse or the reason why is they don't have time because they're always working. They're always providing, and they feel like their duty to their family is solely to bring home an income to create a lifestyle for their family, which in reality, what they're doing is great. It's amazing that they go out and they work hard and they set that example, but that's only half of the narrative that they're supplying for the family.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I don't think men or anybody, men or women, stop and think like, I'm selling one thing in order to get something else. I don't think that they do that. I think it's just, you know, like what's in front of them is as their perception of what's important.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it's like always like I can do something tomorrow. I can start something tomorrow. And like when I started working with you, and I mean, I guess, you know, to tell the audience, you know, I mean, I did start working with you, and personal training, and he freaking kicks my butt. But I love it, but he freaking kicks my butt. I'm just saying.
I get the most out of you.
Yeah, he gets the most out of me. Actually, I think he get more out of me than I did. I didn't even know was in there. But. So, in the midst of us starting to talk, I mean, I run a cybersecurity firm. I'm running with my wife, Network Live, and we're doing this conference on September 30th. We'll talk more about that later, right? Well, we're running that, and that's like a full-time business, right? And so it's like, I'm kind of sort of running 3 full-time businesses, right now. And my thought was, man, when am I going to find time? And the caveat for me that most men don't have is on September 30th, I'm stepping on a stage. And I know that we can't like recover all the things I've done in a lifetime to this body in that time period.
Right.
But we can make a dent in the 90 days.
And we already have.
And we already have. But the part that I think about, man, is that time came up. Like the time, it's a lame excuse.
Yeah.
I found time.
Well, you made time. It became a priority for you because one of the things that I remember that you said is you wanted to match the man inside of you to the man that was being presented to the world. And how were you supposed to get anyone to believe in your message of empowerment and self-improvement if you were only doing half the battle?
Yeah. And this podcast, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm unbelievably, or I try to be unbelievably vulnerable, and just like it is what it is. I don't position myself like I work with a lot of like high-end coaches, and I talk to a lot of high-end coaches, and I'm almost like, dude, there's no freaking way your life is like 100% dialed in, because I know that most of the stuff that I do in life is better than you are, and my life freaking sure as heck isn't 100% dialed in. Right. So we need to get past that whole dialed in thing, but so that vulnerability thing, man, it's real. And let's talk for a minute about, and I don't want to make it about me, but I want to make it about some of the things that men or women, anybody who starts to really take their health serious, might start to experience. So what are there anything that you've seen in like the 6 weeks that we've been working together, like the mental changes?
Well, in the beginning, you tried to rationalize a lot, that you weren't where you thought you should be. And there was a lot of reassurance, like, hey, it's okay. You're doing a great job. And you didn't want to accept the compliments. You didn't want to accept because you didn't feel like you were at the point where you should have been. There's a lot of regret, I believe, that's attached to the process or the journey once we first get started in it. Because we know that we didn't take care of our body, especially when we first get on those weights and we're like, whoa, I'm not as strong as what I thought I was. And I think men see that the most. Their identities become into question, and then their egos step up to try to prove something, like they're valid or something. When in reality, it's just they chose to do something different. And so as your journey progressed, as you saw, week by week, you started getting stronger and stronger. And one of the biggest things that I saw in you is your mental strength grew along with it. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, dude, I just did more than I did last time. And then you would get excited. And you're like, how much weight's on there? How much did I just do?
Yeah.
And one of the other things that we've talked about a lot was when I like to go 2 more reps.
Yeah.
2 more reps. And a lot of times what happens is it's the job of the mind is to protect the body. And so it will tell you to stop before you could actually stop. Like you could do a couple more. And when you hear someone, and this is why it's important to have a coach, one, to recognize your form and to recognize what's happening, but also 2 is to challenge you to do better. Because when you have someone that you trust in your corner and they're telling you, hey, do 2 more, it overrides the mind. It tells the mind to kind of be quiet. I think I can do this. And more than often, like you would do more than 2 reps.
You know, one of the funniest things that I can think about when we go back, it's like I have a hard time with. I don't like people to tell me when I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like I say when I'm done, right? And so you're like, all right, you're done, and I push through one more set. I think it was leg press.
Yes.
One more, and I'm like, I'm gonna do one more, and you're like, oh, dude, you got 5. Give me 5 more, and I'm like, what? It's like if you got one more in you, you got 5 more in you, and I'm like, wait, no. And so I was like, dang, man, like.
But you did it.
I did it.
You did do the 5 more.
I did the 5 more, but the thing is like, it's just crazy because I was like, I think I got one more in me, and you're like, oh no, give me 5.
Yeah.
And so that, but I mean, like there were so many things that I think as men that is like, and probably women too. I don't want to like throw women
Everyone.
like
It's a human experience.
yeah, and it's like, you know, it's really humbling to go to the gym and like do free weights and be like, oh, 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, is there anything less than 5? No, 5 pounds. It's like the next thing lower is air.
Or pink weights.
Pink weights.
Yeah, you
man.
haven't got the pink weights.
I haven't got the pink weights. But I say that because, you know, and the cool thing about having Superman behind me, right, yelling at me half the time, come on, buff guy! Give me another one, buff guy. And it's so funny, man, because you'd call me buff guy, and I was like, early on, I was like, dude, come on, man, I'm not buff guy, you know. But after a while, you've said that so much that I start to mentally think, you know, I'm on my way to being buff guy.
Absolutely.
I'm on my way to being buff guy. And part, you know, you talk about the mental side of it, and you know, you and I spend a lot of time, you know, talking about the physical and the mental, and just, you know, I'm really careful when it comes to the things I say to myself and how I say it. And I mean, I like guard it really well, and I watch it, and I do that. But when it comes to the mixture of my mind and my body, because, dude, I've not had a great self-image
Right.
of myself for a long time, right? And like one time you said, come on, you're a stud muffin. And if you remember, what did I say? I said, I'm more muffin than stud.
And what did I do after
You
that?
freaking shut me down.
Yep.
Right? And that's what needed to happen.
Absolutely.
But those are the things that we do. We sit there and sabotage ourselves. We're like, I should be this. And it's like, no, man, you shouldn't, you know. It's like, it's like, you know, we talked about this, like 90 days, like almost from when we started to when the conference comes around. That's about how long it's going to have been that we work together.
Yeah.
Right? I will look better.
You already do.
I mean, I do, but I will look better.
And
I
we
will
have
be stronger.
And we have proof already.
Yeah.
With the 3D scanner.
Yeah, that 3D scanner is pretty awesome. But what I know, what I've had to not had to, but what I know, I guess I'll just say that is that it took me years to get to where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take me a long time, whatever that time frame is,
Absolutely.
to get where I need to. And part of the reason why I bring you on here, and I posted on social, and people will say things all the time about like, oh, you know what, I don't tell people what I'm going to do. I just go out and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of interesting. Was when we talk about our program Mastery Alliance, we talk about that if you tell somebody, there's like a 10% likelihood. There's a study, right? 10% likelihood you're going to do it. If you set a date, it's this much. If you find somebody that you're going to be accountable, it's to this much. All the way down to like where you can get to about 80%. One of the things that I believe is that the more people you tell, and the more broad you broadcast what you're doing, the more people start to watch, and the more people start to like hope for your failure,
Right.
or your success. But very rarely does anybody get apathetic, right? Anybody that notices what you're going to do is either going to be like, I'm rooting for you, or I'm rooting against you.
They start picking sides.
They pick a side, and either way is okay, because we need that. I need that, because people are going to be like, how you doing, man?
Right.
I saw you eating a donut. Nah, I'm not eating that donut, but you get the idea.
Right.
Right.
It starts adding to your accountability
Yeah, it
team.
starts adding to the accountability. And you think about that, man, and like how much that matters. And like when I started working with you, I didn't realize that, like, I was thinking about the accountability of everybody else, and like there's so much that, I'm accountable to you. And it's like I had this trainer before, and the guy was really good. I'm not gonna say anything negative of him. He was really good, but the part that I missed that I didn't realize was it was really easy for me to cheat at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just really was, and I didn't realize that till you and I started working out. And I was like, oh, somebody was a little bit lazy,
Right.
and it was me. Just in case you didn't know, you know, but it's like those kind of things where it's like when you have somebody there that their goal, their job is to like push you and to like ask you like, what are you eating, what are you doing, take pictures of your food, you know. I mean, that's got to be like a massive part of somebody's success, right?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when it's someone that they respect and someone that they trust. And that's one of the things that I work very hard with, is to build a personal relationship with you, to build that rapport so that we don't have a separation in what you want to tell me. Because you want to be honest with me. Like you said it before, we've become pretty close friends. Like I know things about you.
And we're not spooning or anything weird
Well,
like that.
not
Man.
yet.
No, yeah, I don't think that's coming, man.
But the reality is when you like somebody and you trust them, then you don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
You don't want to disappoint them. And you're going to put more effort into it. And it's just like I put as much effort as I possibly can into you. And so it's reciprocated back. And then you get more results out of it. And that's why it's important to find a coach that you resonate with, that meets the standards that you have and the values that you have, and then you actually want to do more. You want to drive for further success.
Yeah, and I think about when we first started going to the gym, and I remember like the first week I was like, all right, I got this, because you eased me into it. I got this. This isn't bad, right? I mean, I think, you know what I mean? I did it. And it was like that second week, I was like, oh, snap, man. Like, now this has gotten hard, right? And it's like each time, and it's like 6 weeks into it, I was sitting there today, and I was looking at the app that you have, your new app, which is really cool. But I was looking at that, and I was like, man, have I just, don't answer me, please, right? But have I just hit the tip of the iceberg of like what's going to be like the pain and anguish that I'm going to be?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But isn't that similar to business?
It
When
is.
you first got into business, I'm sure it was a little bit easier, but as you learn more, you could dive in a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And you could push a little bit harder.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you're a diamond in the rough. You're just waiting for more pressure to be put on you.
Yeah. And you know the thing that that's really like humbling is when you see a picture of yourself.
Yep.
Or you see a video of yourself, or you see something, right? And I did this training in El Paso, and I got this video of myself. I did one a few weeks before that, but what I was wearing was, a shirt untucked and kind of hit a little bit, hit a little bit of stuff. But the one I did in El Paso, I had a suit jacket on like this. And I was looking at myself. This is before we started working out. My posture wasn't great, and I just looked at myself and I was like, man, how in the world am I going to get people to take me serious if what's on the inside doesn't match the outside, which is what I think you were getting at.
Absolutely.
Right? And that is why I have been like so adamant about, like, I'm telling everybody I'm doing a transformation, and I use that word like I'm doing a full-on transformation.
It is.
And the reason why I say that to people, and I'm so adamant about it being a transformation, is, and I will succeed, right?
Yep.
But there's really only two options to this. Either it will be a success, which it will be, or I'm going to be a colossal failure.
Yep. And that's not going to happen.
And that's not going to happen. But the reason why I say it to everybody is because I need that additional level. And that's the thing that we try to get across to people is like the more you can commit, the more you can put it out there. It's because it's so easy. You know, it gets blurred on social media because there's the point of like, oh, are you bragging?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we need to know the difference between when we're bragging, we're basically throwing it out there and saying, hey, I need everybody to keep me honest.
Well, do you remember when you first signed up? Right after we made the agreement, we shook hands, and then we left from the place. Do you remember that?
I very much remember that.
And so that's one thing that I see in a reason why that you're not going to fail is because you have that support system. You have those other people that hold you accountable. Your wife told you that you deserved this.
Yeah.
You know, and the more that you started to believe that you deserved it, the more that you invested into it. And that's another big thing that I don't think that men see in themselves, that they deserve to take their health serious, that they deserve to invest into their own physicalness, and then they don't do it.
Yeah. And you know, I think it's true for men and women is, you know, is we become parents or whatever, it's like give, and you know that gets ingrained in us. And you know when I signed up, I just remember like what you're talking about is me getting on the phone with Catherine, my wife, and just going, I got buyer's remorse. I'm like, call her, I'm like, I got buyer's remorse. I'm like, man, I can't, you know, because we had so much money being poured out, like into the conference and into, you know, into all these different things. And so it was like, okay, we got that, right? So that's like something else. And she's like, wait a second, you know, don't you talk about people needing to reinvest in themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Like go to our conference or, you know, get a coach, you know. And she's like, you know, that's not just mentally, it's physically too. And she's like, if you're gonna really talk about that stuff, you need to live it. And she's like, and you're worth it. And I'm tired of seeing your fat ass. I'm just joking. That didn't happen. Right? I'm just joking. She's great. She didn't say anything like that. She'll be like, I did not. So I'll just say that for that, right? But you know, it was just like massive support. And that's the thing I think that, you know, one of the things that Catherine and I talk about is like being your own best power couple, right? Like not you don't have to be a power couple as far as the world sees you, but like your best version of the couple that you and your
Right.
wife or whatever.
Well, look at
husband
what's
or whatever.
happened too since then. Since that you have taken the initiative to take care of your health and you've started taking the steps towards that, your example is now shining onto her.
Yeah, and that's the joke is that, like, I always make this joke about like, man, can I have anything, Catherine? Can I do anything just for myself? I'm just joking, but you know and man, she's freaking dynamo, dude, because she gets like in and does like everything, and like, yeah, exactly. And so for her, like, she's like, I want to go to the gym. I want to start working out. I want to do this,
Yep.
and like, she's doing, you know, what you had me doing, and it's pretty crazy, man. Just to see her in there, and like, it's funny because one time, I just had to laugh because I was like, man, look at that woman strutting, right? Because she's like, we're at the gym, and she's like on her way to like finish up her like last set because I had finished it, and she had two of them done, didn't get her third one done, had to take a break for a second, you know, to go do something, and then comes back, and it was somebody who's using it. So she goes and does another exercise, and she's like, I'm like, oh, we're done. Yeah, you don't need to do 3. Two's good enough. And she's like, nope. And so she walked back there, and just that whole strut, and I was like, yep. It was pretty funny though, and you know, but it was a confidence, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the thing that, you know, that I think we tend to forget or don't realize is that, you know, there's several things that I think is one is we set unrealistic expectations for ourselves. So we like, it'd be really easy for me to look in the mirror and go, I've been doing this for 6 weeks. Why do I still have a tire around my waist?
Right.
Well, it took you longer than 6 weeks to get it there, buddy.
Absolutely.
So, it's going to take you time. And like you've told me, that's going to be my last thing.
Yep.
Right? So we know that. But the other thing is like, so we have to be, we do what we can, but we have to be, like realistic.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing is just to know the amount of confidence that can come your way quickly.
Well, look at what happens when you come in. There's been several times you're like, man, this is not what I want to do today. This is not what I want to do today. But you also know that every time that we leave, you're on a cloud nine. Like, you're like, I did that. I accomplished that. Did you see what I did on leg press? Did you see what I did on the chest? Like, I didn't give up. And you're like this radiant man, even though you've just been beat down. It's insane.
Yeah, and sometimes we're in the gym for a long freaking time.
Yeah,
in my mind,
an hour, sometimes a little bit longer.
Hour and a half. Don't be selling it short.
Depends on what we do and how much energy you have. Because there's times that we have just sat because I'm realistic with it. Not every day is going to be this day that we just conquer the world. There's going to be some days that maybe you just flew back into town off of a business meeting and your body's kind of run down. And so we have to be realistic about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's also something that runs into a lot of problems for people, especially ones that aren't experienced in the gym, is they go in thinking that they're going to set personal records every time. And that's a disservice that social media has done for us. It's created this human highlight reel and makes people think that every time I go in, I have to set this record. When in reality, you're setting a record just by going in and doing your best. Now, maybe you didn't eat right. Maybe you didn't sleep very good. Maybe a situation at work happened and it's kind of got you off of focus. But the success is when you have gone in, gave it your all, got some good flexes on, and made a little bit of progress towards who you want to become.
Yeah, yeah. So let's take we've got a couple minutes left. Let's talk about a couple things, but let's just briefly talk about the conference, right?
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
I'm pumped for this one.
So why are you pumped?
One, because I get to see what we've been working towards. I get to see you on stage with that new set found of confidence. And then I also get to see people and meet people that you value. I respect you a lot. And every time I see you in the gym striving to be better, it grows on me more and more respect for you. And now I get to meet people that you look up to, people that have helped you become the man you are. And I'm excited about that.
Yeah, well, thanks. I mean, I swear, people, I didn't cue that up, about the respect part, but thank you. We really have handpicked these people to speak, and they were, everybody from Michael Burnoff to Coach Burt to Naveen Jain to Karen Worstall to Shay Hillenbrand to Chris Carlisle. Oh my gosh, man. All these people, and then Catherine, and I'm not bad, and me, man, right? I mean, it's like these 8 really good hand-picked speakers, and each, I mean, like I tell everybody, it's like if you can come away with just one nugget out of 8 speakers, that is going to catapult you up, and every single speaker there has impacted me in a way, which is why I focus on them. And Karen Worstall, as an example, is somebody that I've known, interestingly, through security, because she's been a cybersecurity chief information security officer at 3 Fortune 500 companies. So she's at Microsoft and other companies, right? I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say is Microsoft, and that's I can end right there, right? Yeah. and her start was unbelievably humble, right? But she persevered. She created something that just wasn't there, and became a leader in security, not just a woman leader in security, but a leader in security. So it's like we can get rid of the like, a leading woman with like a leading person. She is amazing, and just to watch her make a shift in her career. She's still involved in security like I am, but just to watch her like talk about how do you level your life up right to the point of burnout, but you don't flame out,
Right.
right? And that kind of thing. And so you look at like, well, how in the world does she even know what that is? Well, she's lived that life.
Right.
And so it's like so often what we don't want to do is we don't want to bring people that are theoretical. Like, oh, hey, here's something, do this. It's like, okay, great, you're what? I mean, you don't have any practical experience. So these people do. And like Karen is just, I mean, I have so much respect for her. I have a lot of respect for all of them, but I just kind of wanted to highlight her for a second. But anyway, I'm excited too, dude. I mean, it's gonna be great. And here's the one thing I would say about this is like whether it's mental or whether it's physical, whether it's our plan to do something, whether that's physical or mental, nothing ever goes the way that we think it's going to go.
Right.
And then we act shocked when it doesn't happen. Like, oh my gosh, what happened? Well, did you really think that there wasn't going to be any hiccups? I didn't want hiccups. No, of course you didn't want them, but we get surprised.
But that's what
right?
strengthens us.
That's what strengthens us. And so often, like, when we're doing this conference, and I tell people this all the time, they're like, how's it going? I'm like, well, it's not going the way we thought it would go. In some ways it's going better, in some ways it's not. It's just not going the way that we thought it would go.
Right.
And that's okay, because anything that we create is going to be amazing, and the people that are there are going to have an amazing experience.
Yep.
And that's what we're creating. And so, I say that because so often we get it in our head that it should be a certain way. And I think back about, the comment I made about like we need to let people know that we're vulnerable. And like coaches so often are like, I don't do this and this doesn't happen and this is like, come on, man, you're freaking human.
Right.
And I know you, and I've seen you in action, and I've seen you freaking flail.
Right.
Right. But you're not going to show that. But the example that I go back to is one time you were on the whatever it was.
Oh, the leg curl machine?
No, well, it might have been the leg curl, whatever. But you weren't maxed out, right? But
Yeah.
you were maxed out for you, and you
Right.
were straining and,
Oh, it was the chest press
yeah,
machine.
the chest press, and you're like, and you're like, and it would have been really easy for me to go, man, my coach has a limit. Shouldn't he just be able to put it down at the bottom and just like pump this all day long and just have a natural conversation with me?
Right.
But that's what we do, and that's what coaches present to the world.
Right.
Like, I'm just over here maxing out and nothing's wrong. It's like, no,
Absolutely.
it's not. And so, you think about that. That's what we want, with this conference is the whole thing is like, how do we help people accelerate their business growth? And how do we accelerate in all aspects of life?
I do have something that another reason why I really want to be there is this is something that I aspire to. We've had this conversation that I want to be up on stage. I want to be able to talk to people in it. And I know that being surrounded by the people that are doing it and doing it successfully will not only give me motivation to do it, but it also gives me a blueprint.
Yeah.
It gives me an example to start leading myself by. And how can I find things that they do that I can follow? How can I make these relationships to help me get to those places?
Yeah. And the more you align yourself with those type of people and the right type of people, the more those opportunities prevail and
Absolutely.
come up. And we've had some unbelievable speakers as fireside chat speakers, as conference speakers. And I'll get people that have come up to me like, man, how do you know these people? And it's like, I put myself in a position to know them. I put myself in a position to understand them, and there's a lot of people that I'm already looking at like 2024, right?
Yep.
There's this freaking crazy lunatic dude named I can't even remember what his name is. Greg something, man. That did this thing like this run where he ran 122 miles in a row. I told you about it in the movie.
Okay.
And I'm like messaging the guy like, dude, you're like the right kind of insane. You want to be a speaker in 2024?
Yes.
You know, and that's kind of the stuff I do. So, you know, I guess I'll say this and then we'll close it up. But if people are interested, it's September 30th. It's at the Scottsdale Resort at McCormick Ranch in Scottsdale, Arizona. And, you know, you can find the website at theacceleratesummit.com. And we've got a lot of promo codes out there floating around. I don't know what will be floating around by the time this goes live.
You don't want to miss it, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, people don't want to miss it. But just in conclusion, tell people how they can find you if they want to find you.
Social media, I'm Christopher Reeves. I have Dapper and Fit on Facebook and on Instagram. On LinkedIn, Christopher Reeves. I'm the guy that's dressed amazing. And I also have a website, fitanddapper.com.
Yep. And if you work with him, you get like a cool little, what are they called?
It's a pocket square.
Pocket square. All right. So,
Hey.
thank you for tuning in. Woo! Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Accelerate and Grow. And we hope you come back next week for our next episode.